Today we are going to repair an OSP-P rodless cylinder. This is your standard repair kit, maintenance manual, inner outer band, your grease, your cleaning tool, your dust scrapers, a variation of shoes, your piston seals, your end cap seals, your cushion pipe seals, your cushions, your end cap bumpers, and your scraper seals. On an OSP-P repair, if your unit has a guide or a slide on it, you need to go ahead and remove this first. To remove this, you need to remove the drive blocks. There are 4 screws holding these on. When sliding the guide off the end of the unit, go ahead and slide it off easy as possible so the bearing strips or rollers do not move. Just go ahead and place it upside down and place it out of the way, and then you can start the process. We're going to go ahead and start the repair of the OSP-P line. This is your basic OSP-P. Some of the tools you will need for this application is assortment of Allen wrenches. Jewelry set Allen wrenches with a ball end or a jewelry set screwdriver works real well. You'll need a sharp pick for removing some of the seals. You'll need a cleaning for degreasing the unit before reassembly. Shop rags help, and a small brush to apply the grease. First step, if you can get it in an area to where it's cleaned up and not so messy, helps. Go ahead and remove the top dust seal. There are 4 screws holding this on. When removing the top dust seal, go ahead and use a small screwdriver, place it in the corner of the piston towards the bottom, and gently wiggle it in so you don't break it. And go ahead and roll it up, and then when you get one side up, slide it to the back, and it'll come all the way out that way. Take the same tool, your dust covers on the end of the unit, place it underneath the corner, work the screwdriver to the back of the cap, and it'll pop off. Same for the other side. Then go ahead and you have your inner and outer band clamp screws. Go ahead and loosen the inner clamp, and then go ahead and remove the outer clamp all the way. Remove the clamp out of the cylinder. Repeat this process on the same. Go ahead and remove the outer band. At this time you go ahead and you can loosen the 4 end cap screws on each side of the unit and remove them. Repeat this process on the other side. Once the end cap is removed, you need to take a small jewelry set screwdriver, works the best if you have it, or your pick will work. To removing the cushion tube, you need to come at the bottom of it, work your way in towards the middle, and work your way out slowly with it coming out at an angle. Too aggressive will crack the plastic and you will have a leak when you reinstall it. Repeat this process the same on the other side. After removing the cushion tube, go ahead and remove the seals. You have a bumper to remove. Comes off. You have the main seal for the cylinder body. Comes off. You will have a small inner cushion seal. Also gets removed. And sometimes the main seal here of the cushion tube will stick to the end cap. Once your tubes are removed, you can go ahead and then now remove the piston, and the inner band will slide out together. Just feed the inner band out through the piston. And to disassemble the piston, go ahead and the scrapers will just push off out of your way. Go ahead and remove your shoes off of the piston. It is best to lift up one side, hold your thumb, lift up this side, and they come out fairly easy that way. The shoes are now removed. Go ahead and deseal the piston. The same, just kind of wiggle into the bottom of the piston, not to dig or gouge to damage the support rings. Okay, now the parts need to be cleaned, debris needs to be removed before the reinstall. This completes the disassembly process. Alright, at this time we're going to go ahead and clean the units and some of the critical components to make sure when you're reinstalling the unit you don't have any debris or anything to cause the leaks. Some of the things you need to watch for this when cleaning the barrel: to check the slot going down through the barrel for any rough edges or grooves. This will cause imperfections that will cause air leaks. On the piston, when cleaning it, need to make sure down inside the support rings are nice and clean in there, so when you reinstall the new band it doesn't cause any damage. On the cushion tubes, cleaning them, make sure to get around the rings and around the bumper sealing areas, so therefore we have a good seal on that part. To clean it, you can use any sort of degreaser to grease them down. Hand wiping them is fine for this. I usually just go ahead and spray them on a rag. Clean each part and inspect it. Make sure no parts are broken or brittle. For the cylinder body, easiest just to spray down inside of it. Go ahead and stuff your rag inside of there. Not too tight. I like to pull the corner of the rag up through the slot and kind of ball it up a little bit so it gets all the debris out of the slot, so when the pistons support rings slide through there they work. Okay, when cleaning the piston, just wipe it down real good. Make sure to inspect the cushion tubes very thoroughly. They have a tendency of cracking around the edges here. If they are not cracked, you're good to go to reuse them. Okay. If all the parts are good to reuse, you can go ahead and restart the assembly process. Okay, this is the reassembly process of the unit now that you disassembled. At this time, we're going to go ahead and reinstall the piston and the piston shoes. The piston shoes that you removed is your best guide to select out of this range of shoes that you have. You'll notice you'll have a short and a long set of shoes for each color. That is based upon what piston design you have. The multiple colors is for the application that you may need. From the facility, we went ahead and we installed what we felt was the best fit. So we have orange in here, and they are also the orange short. So that's what we're going to use to go ahead and start the reassembly process. To install the shoes, you have a long and a short side. Start the short side down and you wiggle them in place, and you'll notice when you get down so far you have little ears on your shoes. Place your small screwdriver and spread them apart until it pops all the way in, and then go ahead and you will have to angle it up so it seats flat against the piston. Go ahead and repeat this on the other side. Go ahead and run your fingers up the sides and make sure everything's nice and flat and they are lined up. After installing the shoes, we can go ahead and install the cushion sills. Your cushion sill has a flat side and a top hat looking side, I'll go with. Flat side goes down against the support ring. Okay. Then I like to go ahead and get the grease at this time. I take my grease and I go ahead and I like to just squirt it out on the side of a bag. Makes it a little easier to work with. Go ahead and use your brush, grease. Go ahead and grease up the groove of the piston seal. Install one piston seal. Cup side goes towards the outside of the unit. Go ahead and take your grease, put some down inside of the piston. Wipe it down the side of your shoes. Then we will go ahead and need our bands. Your bands come in on a coil. So try to find the starting point, place your finger on them. So once the bands are removed from the coil, your inner band is on the inside. Your inner band is also your smaller band. Your outer is your wider band. Go ahead and wipe off any excess oil that may be on your inner band. When installing your inner band, you have a side of it that has two bevels on it and a side that is flat. The two bevels go down towards the piston, and you go ahead and you install it in and just slowly fish it through there. And we'll come out the other side. Then you will take some more grease, wipe it around the edge of the cylinder body, around the bevel. Put some grease around your support rings. Grease up the piston relatively good. Okay. Then when installing into the cylinder body, line up your support ring and band to be inside the groove. You do not want it offset this way or this way to try to put this in. It will damage the inner band. Just go easy, wiggle it in. Now push the piston all the way to the other side. To get it out a little bit, take your grease, reapply it into the piston groove. Install your other piston, bevel side out. Re-grease. Install piston back in. Move your banding to where the holes line up with the edge of the cylinder body. Okay. Next will be the cushion tubes. We have to install the bumpers first. A little bit of grease on the spear. You'll notice your bumper has a flat spot and a notch. That is, in the cushion you have holes and it only lines up one way. Seat it. O-ring, use the bigger O-ring for the inside of the cushions. Apply grease around that O-ring. A little bit on the end of the cushion spare. Clean up the end of the cylinder body a little bit with grease. When installing the cushion spare, you will need to use a pick or something to align the hole for the inner band clamp. When installing this, need to hook the inner band clamp, go in at an angle, and very slowly just wiggle in at an angle. Do not try to go in straight. Okay? With the pick now having the holes lined up, install the inner clamp. Leave this loosely. Okay, repeat this process on the other side. Okay, from that point, we will install the end cap seals. You have a small and a large. Small goes to the inside, large goes on the outside. Go ahead and put some more grease around those seal surfaces. Run my finger around them to make sure they are flat. Go ahead and install your end cap to the port position of your application. Reinstall the 4 bolts. Do not tighten down one bolt all the way down. Tighten one down snug and then go to the opposite corner and tighten down the other one. This will avoid pinching the end cap seals. Repeat process on the other side. Okay, once both end caps are secure, we're going to go ahead and adjust the outer band tension for the unit to seal. To do this, just need something square on one end and your wrench. When you push on your inner clamp, you may hear a little pop sometimes you will not. Just push it on both ends to make sure the band is seated. Adjust one end, snugly securing the fastener. Go to the other end and push against it on the inner clamp and then tighten the clamp. And then if we did everything correctly, we could do just a quick test by placing your thumb over the hole and pushing to see if you get resistance and hearing air pop. If you do, more than likely your unit has been repaired correctly. From this point, we can go ahead and button the unit up by installing the outer dust covers. You have a square end and a flat end. Go ahead and make sure the flat edge is pointing out. Sometimes you will need a screwdriver to get them nice and flush. Okay. Then we have to install the outer banding. Okay. Wipe off the outer banding. Install a little bit of grease on the top of the shoes. Place the outer banding underneath the clamps. Okay. The outer scrapers, go ahead and remove the old ones off. Just slightly tilt them back. There are 2 small O-rings, just place them back on. A little bit of grease on the bottom of the springs. Okay. Same thing when reinstalling. Go ahead and just place it down in there a little bit. Pop one end in, take the other end, one finger under, thumb on top, kind of roll it down on. Go ahead and reinstall the 4 screws. Okay. Adjust the outer band to where it is underneath both clamps evenly, and then go ahead and tighten the clamps. Reinstall the caps. And now the unit has been reassembled with the service pack. To reinstall your guide, go ahead and you want to hold your fingers up on here the best you can on the inside and slowly tilt and wiggle it back in place. If the slide does not go back on easily, go ahead and remove the 2 screws off the dust cover. Then go ahead and re-slide the dust cover back over the end. Reinstall the 2 bolts. Okay. Place the carriage back to the middle. Reinstall the 4 bolts loosely. Go ahead and just take your hand over the drive blocks, push them together tightly so they are up against the shuttle snug. This completes the repair of an OSP rodless cylinder using a service pack.